Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of McTear's Auctioneers based in the UK, more specifically in Scotland, and we're going to have a look at their latest auction, which is a mixture of musical instruments and other kind of scientific instruments. Now there aren't many instruments in this auction, maybe about 32, but I think some of them are kind of curious, so going to have a look and see what we can find. So this auction is finishing on the 8th of December. It's the 9th today, so you've got quite a few days left to go. I'll put a link to the catalogue in the description of the video as always. Looks like the buyer's premium for this is 24%, so whatever the final hammer price is, 24% of that you have to add on as your fees. So this is a UK based auction, so bear that in mind for kind of shipping, import, export fees, maybe CITES restrictions as well. So we're just going to blitz through this because it shouldn't take too long. Always interesting things even in the smaller auctions. Just to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or comment, because it really does help the channel. Okay, without further ado, let's have a look. So we've got a full-size violin here with a label for Ambroise de Comble 1755. Interesting looking violin, this, £50 to £100 the estimate. Yeah, quite an interesting one for sure. Not many images here. Really nice back, beautiful varnish on that. Doesn't 100% look like the work of that maker as per the label from what I've seen on the Terezio Cosio archive, but it's not a maker I'm familiar with at all, so I can't comment on that. I would think that it is from the 18th century though. No other details unfortunately, I don't think, so it's a bit vague, but if you contact them I'm sure you could get more information. But yeah, interesting looking violin there for sure. Definitely a curious one, really. Yeah, nice back on that. I do like that quite a lot. So this is a good start to this auction. Some clocks and other things here, interesting, but not relevant to us sadly. Right, got a guitar, Gibson ES 140 electro hollow body guitar, tobacco sunburst in associated case. Condition report if you want that one, 1,000 to 2,000 on that. Not much other information unfortunately, but like I said, I'm sure that you can contact them and get some information. Quite cool looking guitar there, quite heavy wear, so it's been used and abused. Broken headstock there. That's going to be interesting on the valuation for that. This has had a hard life. If anyone watches this video and you're kind of know about guitar values, let me know if that's a sensible estimate for that guitar. It doesn't say what year or anything, so not 100% sure, but big neck break there unfortunately. Full-size Czech violin, late 19th, early 20th century, labelled Hamures de l'Aiguille or something like that. Terrible pronunciation again. Yeah, looks like a standard trade violin. 150 to 250. It's interesting that they put that estimate higher than the other violin. It's pretty bizarre. Right, violin 20th century Violin copy. Now they have the back length here, 35.4. It's pretty strange. 80 to 120 on this. Looks like it could be an interesting violin this, but once again just terrible angle. Bow even looks pretty interesting as well, but this is the problem with smaller auction houses. They don't really understand that pictures, good pictures, will really help them. But anyway, I'm sure if you email them they'll give you additional pictures. So Stentor 1950 double bass, so kind of Chinese made double bass, I'm sure. 2 to 400 the estimate on that. Circa early mid 20th century violin with a label Riccardo Ancionozzi Cremonese. Wonder if it's actually meant to say Ancionazzi rather than Ancionozzi, but who knows. To do 35.4 on that. Let's have a look. Interesting scroll there. It's quite wide. I mean, what can you really tell from these photos? Not a lot, but once again looks kind of interesting. Italian violin, circa late 19th, early 20th century, labelled Briani Cipriano Vincentino 1912, 36.2. That's quite a long length of back. Once again, looks kind of interesting, but it's difficult to tell from these pictures. So if anyone from McTear's auctions watches this video, have a think about how you photograph violins. So 31.3 is the length of back there with a bow. It's just a fairly standard kind of trade violin, I think. Italian violin, circa mid-20th century, label for Giuseppe Fiorini, San Remo, 1942. Length of back 36. So once again, not too easy to know. Half-size Chinese violin, modern manufacture. That's fair enough. Well, lots of Italian violins apparently. Italian violin, 20th century, labelled Antonio Mazzori. Okay, 35.6 on that. Let's see what we've got. Quite a nice back on that, but once again, really impossible to know there. German full-size violin, late 19th century, labelled Ernst Kessler, Berlin, 1899. 35.6 on that. I mean, that's a better picture than some of the others, but could do with it being a bit straighter on one of the back as well, and one of the scroll, and we'd be in business. Two violins, circa early 20th century. One with the Landolfi label, while the one unlabelled, 35 and 36. Let's have a look at that. That's a standard trade violin. That one probably as well, although it looks a little bit more interesting. French violin bow, late 19th or early 20th century, stamped Cuneo Huri. Okay, white metal mounts. French violin bow, early 20th century, stamped Victor Fatique à Paris. I'd just be very careful with auction houses like this and their statements of things are French, German, Italian, blah blah blah, unless you know kind of who their expert is. I'm not 100% convinced. Circa late 19th century, early 20th century, stamped Albert Nürnberger. Okay, this is definitely speculative lots here, I think. White metal mounted violin bow and two nickel bows, none stamped, along with how to rehair. Let's see if we can. It's just really difficult to see anything there, but that's an interesting lot for sure. 80 to 120. White metal mounted violin bow, circa late 19th, early 20th century, unstamped, octagonal to turned. Okay, we've got another violin here. German full-size violin, circa 1900, double purfling, 36.5. Of this weird Magini model type thing. They've got some more pictures on this one. I think it's fairly standard trade instrument there. Some bows here, something got withdrawn there. Don't think there's anything super interesting there, and that bow looks like it's well and truly busted. Right, Czech violin, circa 1950, with overhaul and adjustment label for J. Dooley, 1992. Okay. The Wren Concertina, 32500, with plaque for McNeela Instruments. This must be quite new, I think. I think McNeela is like a current supplier of instruments, and it does look in fairly good condition. Okay, we've got an amp, Line 6 Flextone 2 modelling amplifier there, 60 watt, 100 to 200. I'm not a fan of any of these Line 6 amps. I'm not sure if I've tried one of those before, but tried a few of these Line 6 amps back in the day. I just thought they're a bit nasty, personally. Right, violin, John Rayburn of Largord, Scottish violin, dated 1882. 36, 4 to 600 on that. Interesting that they put the estimate on this a bit higher. Yeah. Who knows, it'd be nice to see more pictures. Seems to be the theme for today. Okay, collection of bagpipe parts, late 19th, early 20th century. I like the way they've got a lot more information there. It's got ivory material there, so watch out for the CITES stuff. Yeah, it looks quite interesting. They're showing here chanters stamped: P. Henderson of Glasgow, Robert Reed of Glasgow, David Glenn and Sons of Edinburgh. So could be quite an interesting lot if you are a kind of bagpipe aficionado. I really know very little about bagpipes, but interested to learn if anyone wants to tell me a few things. One of these Gibson Sonics 180 guitars here. I think these are quite cool. 2 to 400, that seems like a fair estimate. Can't argue with that. Fender 12-string electroacoustic guitar here. 50 to 100. Let's see what else we got. Gretsch semi-acoustic guitar, 1000 to 2000. Not a lot more info there. Got a few more guitars here. Another Gretsch Rally, green finish, 600 to 800 on that. Stingray Music Man, that's quite nice, 4 to 600. Yeah, this is quite a nice nice guitar. 4 to 600, that's pretty cool. Fender Stratocaster, 4 to 600 on that. Okay, pretty interesting for a small auction so far. Got some more bagpipe bits. R.G. Hardy of Glasgow, set of bagpipes, mid-20th century, in turned hardwood. Okay. Fender has owned these pipes since circa 1971. Played in a world championship and they won grade 2 with Glasgow Transport. Also played grade 1 with Seagram's 100 pipers. Okay, interesting there. 3 to 500 on that. Once again, don't know very much about bagpipes, but interesting lot. And I think that is it. I think that is the majority of the, well, I think that is all the musical instruments actually. Pretty interesting auction, some interesting violins genuinely, and some guitars and other stuff of interest. So I definitely would recommend checking out this auction if you get a chance. Pictures, not so great unfortunately. Many auction houses are like this, they're a bit behind in the times and people don't understand really violins, but potentially there's an opportunity for someone here to buy some interesting instruments. Are any of these things which are kind of stating they're Italian actually Italian? Who knows? I wouldn't like to comment, to be honest, but some of them look kind of half decent anyway if you can get a good price. But yeah, in general, an interesting auction and definitely worth looking at. So thanks a lot for watching, really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.